Don't be fooled. You're in the company of killers. You're no safer than you were in the jungle.
Company of Killers. Oh, that's got a nice ring to it. Yeah, it could be a hit single. Yeah, you're in the Company of Killers. Yeah!
Oh, dear God, this game. This is Jurassic Park, the game from Telltale. And as you can probably guess from that opening clip and the sound of my voice, it is not a good game. This is merely an average game. This is after they did the Sam & Max games, and almost right after they did Back to the Future, the game, as well. They're trying to do what they're known for in this game. They're trying to do their cinematic storytelling, but there are way too many button prompts. The story is insipid, and it actually contradicts some of the stuff that happens in the first movie. And considering that the first movie's been out for a long time, and this game came out in 2011, that's saying a whole lot. So yeah, here we go. Strap in, boys. Here are the game mechanics. So the big question you're probably wondering is, well, I like Telltale games, but what is it like? Is it more like the older adventure titles they did, like Sam & Max and Back to the Future the game, or is it like the newer stuff? Well, it's like the newer stuff. It's story-driven focused, but it's got a lot of QuickTime events. That's right, and there's also a rating system tied into those QuickTime events. They're so numerous. Yeah, you're going to be earning gold, silver, and bronze. That's why that thing shows up on your screen in the upper left corner there. But yeah, so that was kind of a thing of the way long ago, is games that would implement a scoring system when they really didn't have too much to them. There's a lot of QuickTime events, but there's also autosave, so you never have to remember too long of a string of actions. And if you ever miss an action, you'll see a little red X and your character will outright die, or they will fail their task after a number of little red X's pop up. So you're probably saying, Stryker, I played Telltale games before, I know how to move around. Well, you can't. You actually can't move around in full 3D. You'll be in a spot where you can interact with certain objects, and they will be highlighted as your camera points exactly in the right spot to them. Hold down left trigger and you can actually switch locations. Predetermined locations, you don't actually move there on your own, but you'll force your character to move there automatically. Use the right trigger and you'll actually be able to pull up a dialogue wheel where you can either ask questions to yourself or ask questions to other nearby characters. Sometimes the game will tell you, well, you need to kind of do something, and you'll need to switch locations in order to actually change characters as well. Sometimes you won't know what's going on or what you need to do next, and that's because you need to hold down the left trigger and switch locations, which in turn switches to another character. It's cumbersome, it's not very intuitive. You'll be looking in areas, you'll be like, I can't find anything to interact with. You'll switch to another location, you'll realize, okay, there's only a couple of things I can actually interact with here. I mean, you'll get dialogue for interacting with them, but it'll be kind of frustrating to try to figure out, well, what do I need to magically touch, grab, pull, or choke in order to get this game moving along? And eventually you will find the item, because ultimately there's no inventory, there's nothing really to interact with aside from the magical thing that you need to interact with to move the story along and activate the next cutscene.
What happened?
And for dear God's sake, turn up the brightness. That's right, go down to graphics, crank it up. You'll have to do this every time you go into the game. Every time you exit the game and come back, yes, even after a death or something, you have to come back in and change the brightness. I mean, seriously, this is a battle between a Triceratops and a T-Rex. Can you see what's going on? This is the default setting. You can't see shit. There's absolutely no way you can... Oh. Now we got the story. I guess we should move on, right? Not dwell too much. So you remember that aspect that people kept on mentioning like 10 years after the movie first came out? You know, they should go back to the island and get that Barbasol can. I mean, that's just a movie cliffhanger there for you. I want to see that. Everybody told you that. So guess what? That's what you're doing in this Telltale game. Yeah, I know. Really original, right? especially since the next two movies would completely destroy the need to even get the stupid can. But these guys made a game about it in 2010. So, yeah, it's not that good.
I like your tattoos. Why don't you tell her what your tattoos mean? What do they mean? Gravestones are for the people who died beside him. The skulls are for the people who died because of him. Tell her, where you gonna put Decaf's tombstone? You running out of room.
What did you say?
As you can tell, the dialogue is what completely ruins this game. Characters get angry, characters get upset. They don't really seem to have a fixed focus on what they're supposed to be doing. Like here, these mercenaries are here to rescue the lady, so they're telling her, get on the chopper. But she says no, she won't do it. Oh, but as long as you're here, let's start loading the stacks of bureaucratic InGen paperwork that's taking up valuable space for me. These guys had guns earlier. They should just point their guns, say, bitch, get on the chopper, and leave. But no, we have to stay here and carry on the plot. This dude, like what? He's probably, what, 250 in easy 300 pounds? He threatens the lady, and she says, I'm gonna put your ass so deep in litigation. There's no point. There's no reason why some of this stuff should be happening. These character motivations are complete crap. And then there's this story element of the game that completely ruins the first movie.
You're insane. Denying the dinosaurs lysine was the only safety mechanism we had to keep them out of the global ecosystem.
That's right. Life didn't find a way. This doctor actually figured out how to cure the lysine deficiency of the dinosaurs. The only thing that would actually stop them from wreaking havoc in any other future movies or productions, this lady found a way. It wasn't life. That's right, John Hammond said that life found a way, or that it does. But no, it's this lady that actually found it. It wasn't anything else. And you could argue that that sounds kind of tree-huggerish or, you know, kind of preachy to wildlife and whatnot, but that was the movie. That's what Jurassic Park was. The whole idea was the fact that man created something that was taken off the evolutionary table, if you want to call it that, and we paid for the price of that because it was never meant to happen. But no, instead of life finding a way and making it even worse for us humans that created this chaos in the first place, nope, it's the doctor. She's the one that created the thing that cured their deficiency. She put it in the big water supply, and now what? It completely ruins the movie. I love. And then they talk about a bomber unit coming in, which we don't see. Sure, there's cool stuff like the 3D folder system.
You didn't say the magic word.
You get, you know, say the magic word from Nedry. There's a couple of things that are nice to see, but the QuickTime events, they're just so numerous. There's so many of them. The ranking system, who cares about a ranking system in a QuickTime event game? Seriously, try out anything else that Telltale has done after this, but clearly having way too many button prompts and commands, especially them being so small on the screen, you're gonna miss some, you're gonna get frustrated, and you're gonna hate this game.
Problem. You got this.
And the character actions of the characters just don't make any sense. Like, why is the guy turned around when this girl was clearly an enemy before, and then she pulls out a knife, and then they gotta have a little thing, and you know something's gonna happen that's gonna take out the helicopter and they're gonna end up crashing. It's really basic storytelling 101. Lots of cliches, lots of things that you can see coming. Characters are mad at each other repeatedly, and they make up and then they hate each other again, and this happens throughout the entire story. It's the same crux that a lot of games have. I mean, pretty much all of the characters that you see that are being used, they're going to end up being villains at some point because they couldn't afford to make any more character models, I suppose. It's cool seeing the T-Rex. I mean, the visuals aren't much, but then again, this is a game that came out in 2011, so you can't expect too much in the way of visuals, but yeah, in the famous words of Johnny Cochran, if it smells like shit, you must have quit. I give the game a 52. It's average. The only redeeming qualities is a few nice technical details and some references to the first movie.